History as we know it is often a narrative of the victors. It's a tapestry woven with threads of triumph and glory, often overshadowing the muted cries of the vanquished. The stories of those who suffered at the hands of the powerful are often relegated to the footnotes, their pain fading into obscurity. We remember the heroes, the liberators, but what about the forgotten victims? What about the atrocities that time has tried to erase? The truth is, history is replete with unspeakable acts of cruelty that have been swept under the rug. These forgotten atrocities serve as stark reminders of humanity's capacity for evil, reminding us that the line between civilization and barbarity can be terrifyingly thin. To understand the full scope of the human story, we must confront these uncomfortable truths, no matter how deeply buried they may be. Deep within the heart of Africa, a horror unfolded that rivals the Holocaust in its brutality and scope. This was the genocide orchestrated by King Leopold II of Belgium in the Congo Free State, a vast territory he ruled with an iron fist. From the 1880s to the early 1900s, Leopold's reign of terror decimated the Congolese population, leaving an estimated 10 million dead. Driven by an insatiable greed for ivory and rubber, Leopold unleashed a wave of unimaginable cruelty upon the Congolese people. Forced labor, torture, mutilation, and mass executions became commonplace, transforming the Congo into a living hell. Villages were razed, families torn apart, and the Congolese people subjected to unimaginable horrors. While the horrors of the Holocaust are seared into the world's collective memory, the atrocities committed in the Congo remain largely unknown. Both Leopold II and Adolf Hitler were driven by a toxic mix of racial superiority and insatiable greed, leading them to commit unspeakable acts against humanity. Hitler's crimes against the Jewish people were systematic and meticulously documented, while Leopold's reign of terror was shrouded in secrecy, hidden from the eyes of the world. The sheer scale of the Holocaust, with its industrialized killing machines and meticulously planned extermination camps, has cemented its place in history. Yet the brutality and inhumanity of Leopold's actions in the Congo deserve no less recognition. The question arises, why are some atrocities remembered while others fade into oblivion? The answer lies in a complex interplay of factors, including power dynamics, media attention, and the passage of time. The victors write the history books, and they often choose to downplay or ignore the crimes committed in their name. In the case of the Congo, Leopold II went to great lengths to conceal his crimes, bribing journalists and silencing dissent. The geographical remoteness of the Congo also played a role, making it difficult for outsiders to witness and report on the atrocities taking place. Furthermore, the victims of Leopold's greed were people of color, deemed less worthy of sympathy and remembrance in the eyes of a Eurocentric world. Section 5. The Perils of Forgetting: Why Remembering Matters. Forgetting atrocities like those in the Congo is not merely an act of historical omission. It's a dangerous disservice to the victims and a threat to our collective future. When we fail to acknowledge the darkest chapters of human history, we risk repeating them. Remembering these atrocities is not about dwelling on the past. It's about learning from it. It's about recognizing the warning signs of hatred, intolerance, and greed that can lead to unimaginable suffering. It's about understanding the human capacity for both good and evil, and striving to create a world where such horrors are never repeated. Section 6. History's Prism: How Selective Memory Shapes Our Worldview. Our understanding of history shapes our present and future. When we allow selective memory to dictate which stories are told and which are forgotten, we distort our perception of the world. We perpetuate a skewed version of reality that favors certain narratives while silencing others. This selective amnesia can have far-reaching consequences, influencing everything from international relations to social justice movements. By acknowledging the full spectrum of historical events, both triumphant and tragic, we can foster a more nuanced and accurate understanding of the world around us. Section 7. Beyond the Textbooks: Seeking the Untold Stories. Uncovering the truth about forgotten atrocities requires a conscious effort to look beyond the sanitized versions of history presented in textbooks and popular media. It requires seeking out alternative narratives, listening to the voices of the marginalized, and challenging the dominant historical discourse. We must become historical detectives, piecing together fragments of evidence, excavating long-buried truths, and giving voice to those who have been silenced for far too long. This requires courage, empathy, and a willingness to confront uncomfortable realities. Section 8. In Remembrance, Honoring the Past, Shaping the Future. Remembering the forgotten atrocities of history is not an act of dwelling on the past, but a vital step toward building a better future. By honoring the victims, acknowledging the perpetrators, and understanding the circumstances that allowed such horrors to occur, we can work to prevent them from happening again. We must embrace the full spectrum of human history, acknowledging both the light and the shadow. Only then can we learn from the mistakes of the past and create a future where the horrors of forgotten atrocities are never repeated.